We got the cutaway?
Fuck, cutaway's done.
Fantastic.
It's
Awesome.
oh god, I went to the wrong one.
Oh no! What? You did the right one.
There we did. No.
Oh, the wrong
screen.
Wrong screen. Oh no!
Look at those handsome boys in that cutaway.
It's awesome.
All right. So for those who don't know, for those who may be watching us for the first time, maybe don't know what the fuck off files is, we'll give you guys the rundown. So basically, the fuck off files is we take our esteemed guest and we say to them, if you could just Thanos 3 things out of the music business or music industry from any element of it, what would they be and why? So that's the general premise. What have you got for us, Stoja?
Oh, man. How much time have you got?
As much time as you need, baby.
Alright, no, I'll be good. Alright. First one, and I'm going to say this as a fellow bassist as well.
100%.
Bands that are playing, established bands or upcoming bands that play with fake bass or no bass.
Okay. So
Do
where they've just got a backing track.
They either do it with a backing track, which is just MIDI, or they just do no bass at all. They're like, oh, we're down tuned low enough, we're an F, so we don't need
I've been
bass.
seeing a lot of that lately, especially like the Sydney metal scene is pretty rife for it at the moment.
I mean, look, personally, if you see a band, like, not just visually, I mean, you're getting rid of, like, a quarter of your members on stage. I mean, you're not going to put the drums in the backing, you're not going to put vocals in backing, you're not going to put the guitars in the backing. So why the hell are you going to put bass, which is such an important instrument, especially for metal, as a MIDI track in the backing, and have that token, dingwall through a dark glass sound that everyone's doing at the moment. Look, get a bass player. It's so important. It's so important to the metal sound. Yeah, I just don't understand why a lot of bands are doing it at the moment.
Bands are rolling around, not taking amps on stage at the moment. I don't know what's going on. Up is down, down is up. The whole world's gone crazy.
So, do you think it could? Do you think that could be an element? Do you think that could be an element of just bass players generally being hard to find, like good bass players being hard to find? Because I know that there's, I mean, you would know as well as I do how many people out there are like, yeah, I can play bass, but I've done this myself. Like when I first started playing bass, I had completely the wrong mentality about it. I was the typical like failed guitarist bass player when I first started playing bass, right? Yep. And it's so easy to fall into that trap and having the wrong thing. And I think it's so important to have the right mental approach to the instrument. And a lot of people don't get that. Do you think, though, that this trend of not having bass players could be a factor of something like that, where good bass players are just really hard to find, and with so many metal bands wanting to push into more technical spaces, that they just consider it easier to just go, all right, we're playing to a click anyway. We can't find anyone that's good enough or that we're satisfied with, so we'll just do this. Do you think that's part of it, or is it just more a case of we just can't be fucked?
I think a bit of both. I mean, definitely, and it does sound like tooting our own horn, but talented bass players can occasionally be hard to come by. I mean, you've all seen the guitar player who just fills in on bass. But I think at some points it's almost like a lack of respect for the instrument. I mean, there's guitarists who just like, well, bass is just, guitar but lower, so why would I double up? I mean, if you have a good bassist, which can be the foundation of a band, but also put those elements in to pop out of the mix. I mean, could you imagine listening to Mudvayne or Korn or Carnival or Ginger without
not put
a
those
bassist
thoughts in my head? I
Exactly.
do not want that. I do not want a world without Fieldy.
Exactly. Exactly. Could you imagine if Fieldy was a backing track? I mean, I know Fieldy unfortunately isn't playing at the moment. No. I think he's been covered by the bassist from Suicidal Tendencies, I think.
Sorry. Just Zach, behave yourself, please. we don't need to go there. We don't need to bring up he who shall not be named.
I can't see what he's saying, so
don't worry. You don't need to worry. And yes, hi Craven, hi Megan. You guys are fucking awesome. Thank you so much for tuning in
and posting on the chat too. Thank you.
But yeah, no. Look, I've noticed that what you mentioned there about that having like either backing track bass or no bass is being a bit more common. I have also seen bands doing it with rhythm guitar as well. So they'll have, they'll only have the one guitarist, but for live performances they will have a guitar backing track, adding that extra layer in there, so that way when they're doing solos they're not missing that layer of guitar in there as well. And I agree, but this is whether I agree or not doesn't matter. This is your fuck off files. So okay, but that's awesome. That's awesome. That's it's all very valid.
If you had a member that's pulled a sickie or you're missing.
Yeah, that's absolutely different. Yeah. That's absolutely different. I agree, but yeah, no, I think as like a permanent thing, definitely seems weird to me.
Yeah, definitely recently seen a very prominent Australian metalcore band, now electronic band, perform at the Enmore and put $100,000 into their lighting show, but didn't have a bassist. I mean, come on, guys. What are you skimping out on?
I'll play it. I would have played it for $50,000. Exactly. Just saying, like
the weird thing. Okay, so I'll bring up the show I went to again, but I didn't see 1 AM. It seems like all the money is going into trying to do it not try to do it as easy as possible, but trying to get the most out of what you can possibly do as far as like MIDIs and MIDI ports and getting the right sound that you want to get to try and make it different. Because there's only so far an amp can take you. And what are you going to do? When you think about it, you're either going to spend all this money on pedals to get the sound that you want through your amp, or you can buy a MIDI file, like do it through the computer. The only problem was only one band didn't have stuff ups at the beginning.
Yeah.
And like the computer.
If you're gonna use that digital rig like that, you got to make sure it's working. Yeah. You got to make sure it's all working.
If you're playing live, I mean, it's great that if it sounds exactly like the album, but
I don't want that.
You want to have those minor imperfections. You want to know someone's physically up there performing and playing.
I love it when they do it a little bit different too. When you think the chorus is just going to the go into the chorus is going to, they play it like a little bit longer, or the singer just builds up the crowd before the breakdown. The breakdown just takes that little bit longer and just builds that.
That.
Just the and the unfortunate thing is that when you end up playing with those MIDI files and stuff like that, most of the time it's on a controlled track, so you're playing to a backing track, and as you play, your stuff changes. Your effects come in, your effects come out. So unless you actually pre-think about it and go, okay, we're going to make this bit longer. Because I don't know about you guys, but there were some times where, the band's up there and you just go, oh, no, okay, we're just going to drag this out a bit. And just everyone's vibing on the same level. And yeah, it was...
Some of those improvised ad-libbed moments.
Yeah.
That are on stage.
Yeah,
those
definitely.
special moments. Yeah.
Definitely. It becomes a bit harder when you're doing that. But okay, so that's 100% fair. What have you got for your second one?
Second one. There's bands that put a lot of love, time, energy into the music, and then skimp out in the visuals.
What do you mean? Okay, so what do you mean by visuals? Give me a bit more info on that. So
when it comes to, they might be amazing musicians, amazing songwriters, amazing performances. But when it comes time to their album art, their merchandise, their lyric videos, things like that, they don't take as much passion and care about that as well. I mean, I've seen a bit of a trend where bands will create amazing pieces of work, and then their album art will just be like some texture off some stock image website with their name plonked in the corner in a black bar. And then their merchandise, rather than being something that would either look clean or beautiful or something that you'd aspire to wear, it might just be the band's name in like Times New Roman in orange, just chucked on the front, and they're charging $60 for it. Mm-hmm. If you're putting as much love into the audio side of being in a band, you gotta put love into the visuals as well. Mm-hmm. You're listening with your eyes. The visuals are probably like 2/3 of what being in a band is. Give it the love it deserves. I mean, I don't want to see like think about
Well, you go to
what's
a
the
show to
topic?
watch it, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. And then like the merchandise is something that gets represented. The
Mm-hmm.
album artwork is what you'll see. I mean, one thing I'm missing like physical product that you can hold in your hands. Like remember
Yeah.
some of those iconic albums that you used to buy, and they used to have beautiful artworks, iconic branding that runs through,
Yep.
booklets that you could open up,
We
something
talked
that
about
you could
this last week
absorb.
too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We 100%. We did.
What was it? Off the top of my head,
Mate, the Follow the Leader.
Linkin
The
Park's-
Follow the Leader cup, mate. The Follow the Leader
Leader,
album
yeah,
cover
yeah.
was the best piece of artwork ever made. That thing opened up to about that. How big was it?
Yeah.
Had the full artwork. Oh man, it was
Yeah.
It was
Monster Band. It
iconic,
was
man.
beautiful.
Yeah.
And think
The
about, Linkin
physical
Park's,
album art.
Was it Meteora album? That like the
Yeah.
entire story of the artwork in that band was creating a piece of artwork. They had this.
Yes.
Was it like 20, 30 foot canvas that they went to town on, and that ended up the creative process of that ended up being the artwork for the album.
Mm.
I mean, I just miss
Yep.
that. There's certain bands that just don't have the care factor to the visuals, and I really think they're selling themselves short with that.
Yeah. Look, I 100% agree. I've experienced this a lot with not so much bands, but with when I've spoken to certain people about potentially starting musical projects, where they've been even not just even in the production side of it there, but even in terms of going on stage, where they're like, you see that so many bands that they've got this amazing music, but when it comes to going on stage, they'll literally just walk on stage in whatever clothes they've been wearing all day.
Yeah, presentation.
Like they don't see, and look, for some bands that works. Like for something like Skunk Bone, for example, like where it's a very, the grunge thing, it's very casual. Like what we wear is very sort of, it's a product of what we wore when we grew up, and we kind of like, all right, we kind of dress kind of grungy anyway, so it works in that regard, right? And grunge is meant to be not sort of as hung up on the visual side anyway, so we just, it's meant to be a bit dingy and whatever. But I mean, I've even seen fucking Slayer do it. Like I think it's even not just at a concert, but like the big four DVD, the big four concert DVD. You're seeing all this backstage stuff. And Tom Araya is just chilling there in this red T-shirt or whatever, because it just happens to be the T-shirt that he grabbed out of the drawer that day. And he just walks out on stage in, his jeans in this red T-shirt. I'm like, you're in Slayer. Like, there was nothing special about the thing. It was but like in terms of the stage presentation, it's a bit of an up and down thing, because I get it. But some people want the music to speak for itself and be a thing, and I guess in this day and age where streaming is so prevalent, that the physical copy, I mean, even going from vinyls to CDs was a downgrade on a lot of stuff, because the vinyls are huge, you can put so much detail in this artwork, and when you shrink it down to like a quarter of the size or less for the CD thing, you lost a lot of that, and it's happening over again with streaming, taking it away almost completely, because now you don't even have a booklet, you just have a 10 by 10 image of
If you're willing to scroll down
the
far
artwork.
enough, you can get an about.
Yeah. So yeah, but it does hurt it. It 100% hurts it. We've got a few chats on this one here as well. Zach's jumping in saying, "Yep, that designer brain kicking in." He's also mentioned.
I can be biased about.
He's also mentioned Red Bee, who's I think they're a great example of a band that with their presentation on stage, again, they're just very authentic people, and they come across with that, and they look that way. It works for them, but on the design front, their aura 100% sells it, and the design of their videos and everything is just so on point.
Yep.
Yeah, their videos, their covers, their album covers, their merchandise.
Exactly, and they're a band that is like almost the definition of the music could speak for itself.
Mm-hmm.
The music is so good that they could get away with slacking on some of that, I feel. Not to too far of a degree, but they absolutely could get away with slacking on it a bit, but they don't. They know that the top tier music needs top tier visuals to go along with it.
Yep.
which is awesome. And we've also got
With the MTV
got Craven
generation
in there.
too.
Got Craven in there saying wholeheartedly agree. As a fan, I want to look cool supporting tunes. So definitely, like, you want to you're not gonna sell that shitty T-shirt that you mentioned before, where it's just the band's name in Times New Roman. You want to have
if
the
you
logo on it. You want to have a nice design on the T-shirt.
Yeah,
That's
if
an
you
option.
see a band
So
that is making god tier music and you're wearing and you want to pay $50 to rep their merchandise and it looks like something that you got at the op shop, you're just shooting yourself in the foot.
Yeah, well,
you don't want it to look like you got it. You know what?
They look fantastic.
Yeah. You don't want the band T-shirt to look like you went down to like the store and got one made because you couldn't afford to buy one properly.
Yeah.
You want it to represent really well. So that's a really, really good point.
You got to be a whole package now. The music, unfortunately, at the end of the day, now in this day and age, the music doesn't speak like, unless you're like God tier. Like you said, music's only 2/3 of it, man, and that's as simple as that. Like.
Yeah, they need to have the other elements.
You gotta fucking nail it, because sometimes you may not be the best band in the world, but if you can produce good videos and good content, that will leg you up in maybe the music not being so good. So it's worthwhile branching out and really trying to not just be a band, but be entertainers. That's where you got to step it up. Like that's where every band should aspire to be an entertainer, not just a band.
And you know what? I guarantee you that a lot of those bands that are very, very talented musically but don't put that effort into the other side of it are they're the first to complain that they don't get opportunities or that they don't get the traction that other bands do that they don't consider to be as good as them.
Yep. You gotta take the visuals into account. Absolutely.
All right. What's number 3?
Number 3, and I think this is a relatively new one because I've only just heard about this over the last few weeks.
Okay.
There's a trend, and I think Alpha Wolf were the first to bring it to attention, where venues are taking 20% cuts of the merchandising profits from touring bands.
I did see something about this.
Now, I don't know which venues are doing these or why they're doing them or how long this has been going on for, but hearing bands that are struggling already after 2 years of nothing, and then a venue off the top just wants to take a fifth. I
can tell you right now, if any of my bands ever play a venue and the venue wants to take a cut of merch sales, we will not be selling merch that night.
No, I'll put my merch back in the fucking car.
I do not give a fuck. I'll be like, I'll say, you want to see us? Come and see us in the car park afterwards. And I'm not. If a venue wants to do that, I'm not buying any drinks. I'm playing and I'm fucking off because that is some bullshit. I would. And look, maybe sometimes you don't have. Sometimes you don't have any choice. Sometimes it's a bit harder than that. But yeah, that's some bullshit right there.
That's when I'll be turning. That's when I'll be turning around and going, okay, I want 20% of the drink sales of the night because I played here. You get a fifth, I'll get a fifth chant. If I want, what would you have?
If they're spending 10 grand at the bar and you're the draw card which has brought them to the bar, you should get a cut of that by that logic.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But
definitely.
That's what used to happen.
How long this has been a thing for, and I'm not sure of the circumstances around it, but just hearing straight up that there's, bands trying to hit the road, trying to make a name for themselves, and trying to get by purely on merchandise sales, and venues want to take a cut of that. I mean, we've personally had instances in the past where we've done Australian or Japanese tours, and the staff have taken a 10% cut because they were the ones who were selling it. It was actually staff who were doing it.
That's different.
I can live with that.
That's reasonable. If they're the ones, if they've got a staff member there
they can
handling the merch sale, that's 100% reasonable.
That's the one thing I don't have to worry about.
But I'm not sure of the details and the background. But just on paper, a venue taking 20% of your merch sales because you just happen to play there.
It really doesn't look good.
I just want to put this out there to the chat. If anyone out there has actually any proof of this, can you please send it to me, and I will name and shame any one of these fucking venues. And I'm being dead serious. If any venue does that, I will name and shame them. I ain't fucking playing anyway.
Damn right.
I ain't asking for no fucking shows. I will name and shame.
Damn right. That's horrid. I cannot.
That's fucking disgusting.
Yeah. Really hope that's not something that catches on, because
I'm hoping
if
I'm
it does,
hoping it's a minority. But
a lot of bands are going to really get screwed out of a lot of money.
That's disgusting.
Apparently, okay.
Luna Park.
Craven's just popped in. Apparently, Luna Park does it.
Luna Park does it.
Apparently, Luna Park does it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know. But
That's
is
a
that
pretty
if we
big
talk about the Big Top though?
No, I'm not talking about Big Top. I'm talking about.
If we're talking about Big Top, that I mean, they're a big event. That's a bigger venue.
I understand.
I can say, but
that.
Yeah, I mean, but yeah, it definitely seems
local
like
venues that do that. Tell me if there's
Yeah.
any local fucking like your local pub that puts on bands. If you're in a band and you got any paperwork
you've experienced
saying
it.
that they get a 10%
Send
cut
it through.
or 20% cut, send it through.
Send it through to the page. Send us a message on Facebook, or just at twodudestalkmusic@gmail.com. Send it through. We'll absolutely put that out there, because that's some bullshit. That's bullshit. Daddy Frank,
Melbourne.
a few of the fair bars in Melbourne is small.
Can you, man,
No.
Daddy Frank?
Yeah, send us through.
Send us through, man. Being dead serious. I'm being dead serious. You send that through. Send me through any venue. Send us through any venue.
Yeah, we'll 100% do that, because
I wouldn't let Raph do it because he's got to try and get shows with bands. But I don't need any shows. I'll go ham.
Yeah, we'll dig into it, and we'll try and even try and contact them and go, hey, can you guys justify this for us? Can you guys justify why this happens? So, but no, I agree. That's something I really don't want that to catch on and become more common. It's all it's doing is hurting bands that can't really afford it. So, wow, that's a really, really thorough, really well thought out entries there, mate.
Really, really good one.
That's good.
I've got more if you got time, but we'll
free
for now.
Well, should we?
you've
What do you reckon?
What do you reckon?
Should we extend it? Should we extend it? A special.
We'll play nice for now. All
right. Well, you know what? This just means that we'll have to get you back on when we do like another episode about
100%.
Lycanthrope or Noveaux, and you can just add to the.
Yeah, thanks, Daddy Frank.
Thank you very much for watching today's video. We really hope you had a good time with us. If you did, consider hitting the like and subscribe buttons down there, and ring that bell so you get notified of all the videos we've got coming out. And we do also have a Patreon. If you're interested, you can head on over there. You can get all the videos early and ad-free. So, a little bit of a benefit. It's only a couple of bucks a month. But if not, thank you very much for watching anyway, and we'll catch you guys next time.